Well, the Vatican has been shocked by two recent security breaches. A car drove through barriers at the Vatican 2 weeks ago. It prompted gunfire from security officers. One man was arrested, and 2 days ago, a man took off his clothes and stood on the high altar of St. Peter's Basilica. The incidents also highlight security concerns for the safety of Pope Francis. Joining us now from Rome is Andreas Thonhauser, EWTN Vatican Bureau Chief. Andreas, great to see you. So I'm curious, does the Vatican have a security problem?
So this Saturday, the Archpriest of St. Peter's Basilica performed a penitential rite of the Confessio, so the main altar built over St. Peter's tomb. On June the 1st, the Polish national had climbed the stairs towards the altar, which are usually off limits to the public. Shortly before the church was closing, he took off his clothes and jumped on the famous altar. With a marker, he had written on his back the words, "Save Children of Ukraine." And this only comes a few days after another man breached security at the St. Anna Gate of the Vatican close to midnight. We reported on this and were already wondering then how it was possible that he drove all the way to the San Damaso courtyard of the Apostolic Palace despite the Vatican gendarmerie shooting out his tires.
And Andreas, what does this mean for the overall security in the Vatican? Are there additional security measures that are being taken? And also, could you talk to us a little bit more about the penitential rites that had to be performed at the desecrated altar?
Sure. So first, I've not heard about additional security measures that would have been triggered because of these two incidents. They do expose some vulnerability, and we can be grateful that no person came to harm. However, had the perpetrators acted with more violence in mind, the outcome could have been much more serious, at least in the case with the car. Despite these incidents, we have to acknowledge that the Swiss Guard and the Vatican Gendarmerie are well trained, and in general, they take threat assessments seriously. These two accidents just show that they have to be vigilant at all times, as the Vatican is a prominent target for all kinds of activism and even terrorism, unfortunately. Regarding the penitential rites that Archpriest Cardinal Matteo performed, he prayed the creed and then blessed the water that he later spread on the altar as a sign of purifications. Afterwards, the altar was dressed with a new tablecloth, candles, flowers, and a crucifix. What was interesting was how the cardinal explained the actions of the man with the structure of sin in our world that conditions the hearts and minds of people, as he said, and it was this structure of sin that pushed the man to make an inappropriate and deplorable gesture. This man, by the way, was detained by the Vatican Gendarmerie, and then they handed him over to Italian authorities.
Yeah, very disturbing. On a different note, Andreas, could you tell us more about Cardinal Matteo Zuppi? As you know, he will be in Ukraine today and tomorrow on behalf of Pope Francis.
That is correct. We heard from the Vatican press office today that Pope Francis sent Cardinal Zuppi to Kiev, where he will remain today and tomorrow. And the short notice sent out by the Vatican, it is said that the Cardinal is on a special mission to encounter the principal authorities of the country, and he will listen to them to better understand possible pathways to peace. Certainly a mission to pray for. Tracy?
Well, Andreas, thank you so much for that report. We appreciate it. Andreas Thonhauser, EWTN Vatican Bureau Chief. Thank you again.